All right. Good evening,
Hey.
everybody. Welcome to Build It Through Culture Live. I'm Rob Genovese, and with me is my partner in crime, Steph Bellafato. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday evening, 7 p.m. East Coast time. Every other week or so, we do this Build It Through Culture Live. And what this really means is we're talking about building something, building a company, building a networking group, building a family. You could build anything through culture. And what we're doing here is we're breaking it down episode by episode so you can assemble it and build the thing you want. My name is Rob Genovese, as I said before, and my company is Unleash My Beast Brand. I'm a brand builder. I have a branding and design company, which I started about 6 or 7 years ago. So after 25 years in corporate America, and haven't looked back. It's one of my lifelong dreams to own a business, and it has never been more exciting time to be alive than now to build a business. And I want to give my partner, Steph Bellafato, a chance to introduce herself. Tell us about you, Steph.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. We haven't seen you in the new year, so I wanted to wish everybody a happy, healthy, and successful new year. I am Stephanie Bellafato. I represent ServPro of Putnam County. We are a fire, water, mold, biohazard remediation company and restoration. We take care of anything, any kind of cleanup that you don't want to do. We do that for you. So I'm so happy to be here. Happy New Year, Rob. Oh, hey, Mary Ellen is in the house. And of course,
Debbie's
Mr.
always
Debbie
here.
Ben.
Debbie. We're getting some regulars here. We got some fans, I
Hey,
think. Hey,
Karen.
Karen. What up, my peeps? Hey, Anna. How you doing?
Hey, Anna.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming and hanging with us. Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, Teresa Safali in the house.
Yeah. Hey, Sandra. How you doing?
Hey, Sandra.
Here's your buddy.
Love it.
Your buddy
Hey, Justin.
It's good to be here. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining in. And please share this on your Facebook profile. Get the word out about this. This is, we're kind of coming through Master Network, Steph and I, through this whole culture program. But really, this is for anybody. If there's any people and they're not members of Master Networks, they're welcome to sit in on this episode and learn something here, because this is universal stuff. This is stuff you can use. I've seen. Maybe you've seen some of this stuff, Steph. I've seen people talk about culture in the workplace, and that may have different spins on it. Really, every workplace has a culture, right? So
Sure,
different
absolutely.
companies have different feels to them, and that is how they attract certain employees.
Right. And even for your own personal life, right? With your friendships and it's not just professional, it's personal too. It can help you in your personal life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Thanks for coming,
Hey,
man.
Rick.
I say thanks for coming, man. And we got a man, we got Debbie, man, we got Robert, man.
Look at that.
We got the mans in the house.
Hey,
Thank you both for
Tammy.
coming. Look at this. Hey, Master Networks Inc. The company itself
Hey.
sends their love to everybody. Thank you. That's awesome. So what have we been talking about here for several episodes now? Been talking about core values.
Yeah.
All right. The 5 core values. And these
Oh,
don't
what are they, guys? Who can name some of the core values? Don't say it, Rob. Don't say it.
I almost listed them.
Yeah,
Okay, so
don't do it. Don't do it. I want to see who can put it in the chat the fastest. Name a core value in the chat.
a core value. How about all 5 in order?
Okay.
Let's
see
do that.
who can do it first.
All 5 in order. No
in
cheating.
order. Yeah.
We're watching you guys. We're watching you. While you're doing that, Steph has this overarching message, which when she said it, it really kind of hit me as, wow, that really encompasses everything we're doing here. Talk about this for a minute, Steph.
Yeah, it's always going to be about how you make people feel, right? And caring about what other people care about. You know, people buy and do business with you because you make them feel a certain way, right? And it's the same way in your relationships, whether it's personal or professional. If you make people feel good, they want to keep coming back, right? So how do we make people feel?
Yeah, it's important to think that way. We learn that in our chapter meetings, where you're trying to attract different kinds of people to your group, it's always how they feel when they enter. I use this example a lot. I mean, everybody has walked into this situation. Unfortunately, you walk into a room you've never been in before, right? And you're the new person. And what do most people do when they're in the room? Ignore you.
Yeah.
No, nobody likes to be ignored.
Yeah.
But
What do they do when they come into a room of one of our chapters, though?
oh, it's like the opposite. So you enter one of these, and what is it? Everything stops and turns the attention to the visitor. Hey, are you visiting? Where are you from? And who invited you? And welcome. And what do you do? When you imagine walking into that,
Bro,
that's what we're talking about.
our
What?
song. Where's our song?
We forgot our song. Should we play a song?
Yes, we should play a song.
Okay, we'll play a song. So we do this every week, by the way. We just like to make sure that we're always kind of providing a little bit of an entertainment factor. So we're gonna banter on a little bit more, but we're gonna play a song. And if you know this song, I want you to put the name of the song in the chat. Bonus points if you know who sings it. And who's gonna start that now. But how you make people feel. That is the biggest point in building a culture, right? Because it is that feel
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you walk in a room.
Well, that's going to be the deciding factor if you want to walk back in that room, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we hear things like from visitors to chapter meetings, they come in one time. They've only been there once. And what do we hear? How was the meeting for you? Oh my gosh, you guys are so warm. You're welcoming. You're obviously friends with one another. We've heard that before, right?
Yeah, and you care about it's obvious that you genuinely care about each other and want to help each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Thank
And
you.
like
And
I
that
always like
family.
to say, thank you to Miss Sammy Sunshine Vecchiolo. We don't just do business together; we do life together.
We do life together for sure. And that when I think about that too, that was like it's not like we strategize that kind of thing, the relationships outside. They just
No, it just
spilled
happened.
over to the outside.
It's overfloweth, right? I don't just and you and Rob, you and I talk about this all the time. We don't just see each other like Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. It's like, no, I choose to hang out with these people outside of that on the weekends where we can share and do other things together.
Yeah. Yep. That whole idea of it's spilling over, which I like. It's kind of like, I think it was an unexpected bonus to the way we conduct the meetings and that culture inside the meetings, where people naturally just said, "Hey, why don't we?" It wasn't just grab a cup of coffee to get to know people. It was, "Hey, why don't we grab lunch? Why don't we grab dinner? Hey, you guys want to hang out? Hey, I'm having some people over my house. You
Right.
want to come over? Some of the other people." And it spilled over like that in a very natural fashion.
Yes,
That's just things I
absolutely.
saw. So how you make people feel is a huge part of that whole culture. But we've been breaking it down every single episode here. And so I know we have, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised. There was only one person. Well, there was two. We had two, right? Do you see them, Steph? We had two
I
people. There was one person who got it first, obviously, got them
up.
all. And should I be surprised? It was Nikki Short, success coach.
That's
So,
right.
boy, Nick, if you didn't get it, it's like, oh boy,
Right.
you got to be able
We
to
gotta
rattle those
talk.
off.
Right.
So if we had a prize for you, Nick, we would, but we'll just highlight you and say, give a round of applause.
Yes,
If
great
you
job.
appreciate it.
Great
And thank you
job.
for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
for
for
coming.
joining us tonight.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love it.
So those core values that you just said, relationships,
Yeah.
improvement.
But we don't say just improvement
Oh
here,
yeah,
right?
I always
We
get
say
corrected.
constant improvement. Tina has taught us and ingrained in us that it is constant improvement,
It is
right?
constant, and I always forget because you don't. As I always say, you don't work out once and be like, "Well, I'm glad that's over with. I don't have to do that ever again." Or you go on a diet and eating regimen. Oh, I can go back to eating Chunky Monkey ice cream now. I'm glad I ate healthy one day. It's
Right.
constant.
Right.
It's daily,
Absolutely.
and the contribution
Yeah.
huge. Giving, get not just giving back. It's giving forward.
Right.
It's giving, period.
It's
Contribute
just
your
giving,
knowledge experience.
contributing in any way that you can, right? To help others, whether that's wherever that is, and it should be in your personal and professional life, right? It shouldn't just be one or the other. It should be overall.
Yeah, that idea that I never liked when I was in previous organizations for networking, that people would just sit there and nobody would really offer up anything. And I don't even think it was people's fault. The culture was not built in those organizations to make people feel like they had a voice.
Right.
So you just sit there and everybody's quiet until they're called upon to talk about themselves. And then that old canned soundbite comes out and everybody's like, okay, whatever. I can't wait to get out of here.
Well, that's why that little bit of banter is important, I always feel like, right? Like, and that's the way people get to know each other better. And, everybody has something to say, right? And some people are more eager to say it than others, but every voice matters.
Yeah. When I first I did learn this, and it's very difficult for me as an introvert because I'd rather sit there and observe a conversation than talk. And I know it's hard for some people to believe that I have a hard time talking, given that we're doing this show together, and I have a YouTube channel where I talk and all that, and I do speaking engagements. So I do like to teach, I do like to add value, but I was never really the type in a social situation or a meeting situation to talk. And I would have to force myself. So when I got into Master Networks, and we were in person back then when I first got in, and they would read the training tidbit at the table. And
Right.
I remember being in the Rye Brook chapter, and at that time that was the only master chapter. Now we got 9. We got 9 master chapters in the New York, Connecticut,
Woo-hoo.
New Jersey region. I think it's 9. But yeah, I think it's 9. So anyway, there was the only one. And so they were like the rock stars of the region, and they had about 32 people in there. So I walk in, I'm brand new, and I'm like knowing nobody, and they read the training tidbit, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get noticed as the new person?
Right.
So as soon as the person who read the tidbit said, "Does anybody have any thoughts on this?" My hand shot up. I always want to be the first one, and it was so uncomfortable. But they were asking for contribution, and I felt like, well, I want to be able to contribute something. I don't want to just sit here and let you entertain me or try and add value to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Well, it should be a give and take, right? We should all be adding value to each other, right? It
Yeah.
shouldn't be just, because like I said, everybody has something to say. Every voice matters.
Yeah, every single person. We got some more people dropping in here. I don't know what Rob is talking about. I don't
Maybe
know
the
what
song, maybe the
Buddy Holly.
song. I don't know. I
Buddy
don't know,
Holly. I know
Rob,
Buddy
but hey,
Holly.
Rob.
And Buddy Holly was a singer in the 50s, but I don't know about Buddy Hollywood. So I don't know. And then he's coming. See, if you guys don't know Rob Lowenthal, like you're just going to be laughing. So this is probably a joke. I have no idea. But Maggie Carey's in the house. Hey, Maggie.
Oh, Maggie. Hey, Mags. Love
and look at this,
Mags.
a past surprise guest, Mr.
Yes.
Barry Dwarfman. Hey, Barry.
Bear.
Barry's always got a good joke. And Barry, I'll be waiting for your joke. We'll put that up here. Make it a good one, pal. Okay.
Yeah. You and Rob can.
Here's Maggie being deep.
And Maggie's an amazing giver. Like if you're not following her on social media,
Yeah.
you need to be following her,
Yeah.
right? Because she's always giving people tips to help them on LinkedIn and their social. She's just amazing.
We talk about contribution, but Maggie, I know she was doing Facebook Lives every single week. I don't know, for a year and a half at least, that she told me the other day, every single week, going on whether people came or not, and just giving
Yeah.
social media tips. Here's how you get found. Here's how you get discovered in social media every single week without fail. That's
So she's always super, super helpful, right? Always.
And if she's given a great book recommendation, The Go Giver. This is a good book. I read this one.
Yeah.
Good book. Thank you, Maggie, for the book.
Yeah, I think Jean said that too. The two of them said that.
Jean's got it. Love The Go. Oh, she is.
Yeah.
So she read it too. You read it too. Hey, Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Awesome. We got a lot of people showing up here. This is really, really great. Ah, look who's in the house.
Ooh, Tina. Woo,
Hi, this is
woo.
Tina. I can't change the. What are you talking about? We see your face. We see you there. Tina, ever supportive. And Lisa, it is an
Lisa,
energy
love
exchange.
Lisa Ferry. Love, love, love her.
I love when Lisa puts things in the context of her world, like the
Yep,
way in her work, as a Reiki
absolutely.
master, it's an energy exchange. Yeah, Lisa, it is an energy exchange. You're contributing, you're giving, you're adding to.
Right.
Right? So that means that somebody's going to be receiving. That's why we're a very positive group, because the negative energy brings everything down, right? It detracts.
Yep. So Rob, so should we should I talk, should I ask my question of the night?
Yes, good idea. Go ahead.
All right,
Work it
guys.
out.
So my question of the night for all of you is, which core value do you best model in your behavior? So start putting that in the chat. And look, maybe it's multiple, maybe it's one, maybe you're stronger at one than you are at another, and that's okay. There's no wrong answer, right, Rob?
Yeah, there is no wrong answer. All these core values, and here we got the Mesa Networks had this logo developed, this shield to help us understand the importance of the core values. And the thing is, all five of these, they work together. And that's one of the things I loved about them. When I had my core values, they were good, but they weren't great. And I think these are great, and I've adopted them because they do encapsulate everything that I was looking to do. Again, the reason we're here is because of the culture, and the culture exists because of these core values.
That's right. And look, who these are amazing core values. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Like, these are things that are important to you personally and professionally. It's not one or the other, it's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely all of them. I'm looking through the feed here. Oh, look who's here. Hey, Sammy.
Woo woo.
Sammy,
Sammy Sunshine.
the mug that you gave Steph is
Yes, right
getting
here,
lots
right
of
here.
credit. There you go.
I love my mug that Sammy, she didn't give it to me, she made it for me.
She
It
made it.
wasn't just that she gave it to me, she made it for me.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Okay, Maggie, here you go. Shameless self.
There you go. That's right. Go follow Maggie.
Maggie's bold enough to just say she's going to will success
That's
on
right.
other people, because
Yep.
her YouTube channel, go there, because that's where you're going to learn about this social media stuff. And for a person like Maggie or anybody who puts content out relentlessly in a giving fashion, not expecting anything in return.
Yeah, we
those are
want to
the-
support you, right?
yeah,
Everybody wants
absolutely.
to support. Who doesn't want to support Maggie?
Yeah, absolutely. You get
Everybody
something
wants
out
to
of it.
support you.
You get something out of it. Okay, so we got the answers coming into. Oh, wow, look at this. Relationships.
Relationships.
Well, it's the first one, so I guess it's the easy one. Okay, Rachel's gonna break it, and she's gonna go relationships and improvement.
Well, Rachel's constantly improving, right? She's always reading and she's always sharing amazing books that she's reading. She's always doing that.
Yeah, she's by far Rachel. If you guys don't know Rachel Sorota, you really should do a face to face with her, because I really haven't met too many people like her who are constant, like that constant and constant improvement. That's like her middle name is. She's a constant. She's always reading, got several books going on. She's always reading, but she's doing something which is the extra step, which is she's teaching what she's learning.
Right. She's sharing it with others, right? She's
Yeah,
not keeping it to herself.
yeah,
And that's what we want here in Master Networks, right? If you value what we have here, we want you not to keep it a secret. We want you to share it with other people. Let them experience what we experience
yeah.
in our meetings.
And look, when you see, people like Rick coming up with contributions, so everybody has, their different one, their favorite one, but that's how they see this. This is maybe the dominant part of them that maybe just wants to give.
Right.
I don't know. What's yours, Steph? It's yours.
What do you think mine is, Rob?
Oh,
So I would have to say my strongest is relationships, right? It
mm,
really is. Because to me, and that just embodies the culture of who we are, is those people that are really building those relationships. There are so many people that I can converse with anytime,
Yeah.
right? That it's, and every time you talk to them, you learn something more about them. And I think that's like the beauty of it. It's like that onion that we just keep peeling back those layers. And it's,
Yeah.
you know,
And these all, by the way, we haven't really touched on this yet, but today is a very special episode.
yes, it is.
Very
It
special
is a
episode.
very special. Rob, wait, I want to ask you, what's yours?
I don't know.
Really?
Well, I find it very hard to look at myself and be accurate. It's easy to say relationships because those are at the forefront of everything we're doing in order to get everything we want out of life. It comes through the relationships. So
Okay,
it's easy to
so
say that, but I don't really know.
so what if we took the relationships off the table? Because I think that's really kind of the top for the both of us. So what
Okay.
if we said other than relationships, what do you think it is?
So I'm not really a results person in that I don't focus on the results. Like I have a goal, I go to work and, I know I'm getting there. I know what I want, but I'm not a big tracker
Right.
and I'm not, constantly looking at the numbers. So the results is definitely not it. So relationships is out, results is out. Improvement, man, if you all knew me 20 years ago, I was a wreck. I was a mess. I was, I said this before, I was a loser in that I was losing. I was not winning. And so the only reason I'm able to do any of the things I'm doing today, building the New Jersey region now as a regional director, opening up chapters, connecting people, building a branding company, being able to speak, doing all these things came out of improvement, came out of my constant improvement because I was such a mess. I had to make big sweeping changes. So definitely for a good part of my life, improvement was the top. I have kind of let that fall by the wayside a little bit. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's contribution
Yeah,
because
I think that's what it is for
I think it
me
is.
too.
I think, I just want to give everything I've learned and everything I've got to people. I just want to give it all away because I know it works.
Yeah, we just want to share it, right?
Yeah. But what we're really talking about is today, what we're going to be doing is the culture formula revealed.
So,
Mm,
so, so I want to know who you guys think our special guest might be tonight.
yeah.
Throw that in the
We're
chat.
going to have a surprise guest as we always do. Um, but all the episodes have led up to this episode.
Yep.
We've been talking about the culture formula. So we know there's culture and we know the core values are behind it, but there's a formula that you can use and apply in your chapters, in your business, in your life that will create the culture you want. And it's actually something, it's an actual formula. And
Yep.
Steph, you've seen this before. It's an
Yes, I
actual
have.
formula that you can look at, engage yourself on it and see, oh, I can intentionally create the culture if I do this. And so we're going to reveal that tonight, but we're not going to reveal it just yet. So you guys got to wait.
Yep, that's right. So keep putting who you think it might be in the chat and you know, give
Yeah.
us your
And it's usually
comments.
not the person you're thinking it is. I'll give you
Right.
that hint.
Right.
We
Yeah,
know we
you
know that
guys
from the past. We've had, all the, I guess the higher visibility people is what everybody guesses, but it hasn't been that typically.
right.
It's always somebody else. So what do we got here? Well, Gene says Tina. Inevitably, somebody always says Tina.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
somebody
fair
always
enough.
says Tina.
Maggie says Gene.
Mean.
Rachel says Tina.
Tina.
So this is what happens every episode. Everybody says
Yep.
Tina because Tina is the regional partner of the New York, Connecticut region. She's a mentor of mine, a coach of mine. She's taught me a lot of this stuff. But look, it's usually somebody who you don't think. I'll tell you that. So Jim
Jim
Sandler.
Sandler.
And again, me?
Me.
You're awesome. That's so funny. Me? Maybe.
I
Stand by,
love
Annette.
it.
Stand by. Surprise guest, Larry
Oh,
Blackman.
Larry Blackman.
That would be a surprise. That
Yeah.
would be a good surprise. Yeah. Tina says Gene. Rob thinks it may be himself. He's not sure. Okay.
Ah,
Marion said Lucille.
Lucille Rock. She's
Okay.
in the caramel
Very good
chapter with
guesses.
us. Yeah.
I guess you guys will have to wait, and I'm not sure if we have the right answer yet. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. It's
we'll
always a
see.
surprise. That's why it's a surprise.
That's right. That's right.
But in the meantime, I want you to think about those core values and think about what you think this formula could be. It's actually not rocket science, is it? It wasn't. It's not really like, oh, when you guys see this formula, you can be like, really? That's what you guys been building up to? Because genius is taking the complicated and making it simple. And it's so simple, don't let it deceive you. We're
Right.
gonna reveal that. That'll be good.
It's
And
true.
by the way, make sure if you don't like the Master Networks Inc. page on Facebook yet, go ahead and do that because you're going to be hearing. You want to get the heads up on a lot of these things, not just our live, but as we build regions, as we build business. There's a lot of great things going on in our world that you need to be notified of. And when you like the Master Networks Inc. FB page, the Facebook page, you're going to get the heads up on this stuff. And the reason we were able to do this, right? This is kind of an interesting story. This is tell them, Steph, how this came about. This is an interesting
So
story.
Rob and I talk weekly, and we're having a chat, and we're talking culture like we always do. And I think I said to Rob, like, why are we not sharing this with everybody? Like, we should share this with everybody.
Right.
And he was like, "You're right. We should
Yeah.
be sharing this with everybody."
Well,
So
as you know, so we're on the same culture and retention team, and so it's our job to perpetuate the culture. And in our conversations, it was always like, man, so we're trying to come up with initiatives to give you all things you can do to, how do we teach them this stuff? How do we get this out there? And you said, well, if they just heard us talk, they might learn. It was like, bing.
right, right. And then, but the mind-blowing piece of this all, so Rob and I plan to do this just to do it for even in the region or even just on our own Facebook or whatever. And then Renee caught wind that that's what we were doing. And she was like, hey, well, would you guys do it on the Inc. page? And we were like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
We
Renee
felt
Pride,
so
regional
honored.
partner.
Right.
Yeah, she kind of boosted it up to this page. So it's important that you go do this. Go do it now. If you could just open a tab or something and like that, because we want to make sure you're informed about this stuff, because this is the stuff that makes the difference. We're teaching, we're giving the best of what we've learned that works. Like this stuff really works. That's why we're doing this. We're not doing this, although we do have fun doing it.
We always have fun, and we
Always have fun.
always have fun with all of you, right?
But that's
So
not why we do it. That's
right.
not why we do it. And we want to
But it
thank
is
you
a
all for
great
coming.
time, right? It is a great time. I
Oh,
can't.
always a good time. Always
Yeah.
a good time. And well, Debbie thinks it might be you, Steph. You're the surprise guest.
That's funny.
Hey, that would be a surprise, right? If I just sprung it on you, Steph was like, maybe I didn't. Maybe I told Steph it was somebody else, but it's actually her. That would be.
Oh, that might be a little tricky, right?
Now Gene is grasping at straws. She's like, I don't know.
Phil.
Maybe it's Phil. And who? My Ann? Never know. Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. What is this, Gene? What are you talking about? What does culture smell like? Did I say smell? Did I say smell? I may have.
Maybe I said smell. Who knows?
What does culture smell? I don't know. I imagine it smells really, really nice. I'm going to go with that.
Right.
All right. So I think we should bring on our surprise guest. What do you think?
I think we should. I think we should bring on our surprise guest.
Because we're not going to reveal the culture formula. We want the surprise guest to reveal the culture formula.
That's right. Because
it actually is not something that I came up with. It's not something that Steph came up with. It's not even something that we came up with. It came from somewhere else. So maybe, Steph, you can do an introduction. Should we just bring that person on as big?
Oh, no, I think we should just bring that person on.
All right. So
I think that person needs no introduction.
No introduction. All right. So for all of you who commented in the chat, finally, you're right. Welcome to Build It Through Culture Live. It's Tina Campbell.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, Tina. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you
I
being here.
like Debbie Mann's comment that culture smells like wine.
Oh,
It
I
could
like
be.
that too. I guess I missed that.
That's like wine. Oh gosh,
That's
yeah,
good.
that's good. That is good. So we love that people are having fun, doing this thing,
Hey,
but
I always have fun with you guys. It's been 2 years.
2 years.
We're
It's
on
like
a
a roller
roll.
coaster ride.
We always have fun with you, Tina.
Yeah, always, always. And so I want to be able to give Tina an ample amount of time to talk about this because this came out of, and actually, I think this is maybe like a year or so ago, Tina, when you and I started working together on culture very intentionally. And I'm not sure what you were doing. Maybe give us a little background before I came on the scene as to how you created the culture in the New York, Connecticut region. Did you do it intentionally? Was it an accident? But then you went, whoa, wait a minute, what have I got here? How did that come about?
Well, I would always love to say everything is intentional, right? But, sometimes best laid plans, right? But definitely 4 or 5 years ago when, I always give him kudos for this. Amir Asadi, make sure you tell him I'm giving him kudos. He sat me down. We were in the Elmhurst Diner or one of those diners down there, and it's kind of his office away from the office. And he's like, "So what is this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's learning based and community minded." He goes, "No, what are your core values?" And I'm like, "What are those?" Coming out of corporate, I didn't have to create those in my world. And suddenly he was like, and so as we were going through, we took about an hour and a half to drag them out of me. And I actually even got teary eyed at one point because that's how emotional this felt. Because when you do this for yourself and your business, you can do this for your family. Like I know somebody that does core values for their family so that when the mom or dad goes, does it fit the core values? The kids are like, no,
Yeah.
and it's really amazing how you can make decisions based upon that. If you come, for instance, as a family, you can do it together, right? So
Right.
that's one thing. Anyway, so with I had a little bit different core values, but very similar. So about 5 years ago, like I said, I had my first one was always relationships. My second one was community. My third one was education and training. My fourth one was resources. So that would be like you could find all these different resources of people. And my fifth one was results or business building. So very similar. So when Chaz Wilson, CEO of Master Networks, and Corey Bauman asked me to be the advisor on culture and retention, because they know I had already built these and I've been talking about them for years. The three of us sat down and we were like, I was like, okay, here are mine. And they had come with some, and Chaz, both of them had come with some, and it was amazing how close they were to what mine were. So we kind of used it, like we tweaked it a little bit, and that's how we got up with our 5 core values right now. That's how the whole thing started.
So we're talking about these core values. This is what you're talking about. This is what
Yeah.
the result.
Yeah. So that was a result of the conversation. And, it was because we were so close on it, took us like 45 minutes, which
Oh,
was really great. We thought it
that's
was going to take
amazing.
days.
Right.
But being that we were like, what is it? What are we, that's how in line we were with each other, which was really cool. And of course, Dave Jenks, who helped us all of us on this. So that was how that started. And then when they asked me to really dig into the culture, I was like, I knew it was a no-brainer that it was core values. I then started reading up on other companies and organizations. I sat with Vince Canziani, who is our at the time was our president of our Mount Kisco group, and he does organizational training and leadership. So I asked him to come on, and it's still on our Master Networks YouTube site. A really good conversation I had with Vince about culture. And I always give him, credit because he was like, after Amir, I look at all the people that have helped me get to the next, level. And Vince was definitely that. Paul Aiken was another one that I spoke to. And I just kind of started to take everything they talked to me about and came up with this, this formula, because it just made so much sense and it was pragmatic. Because people go, culture, what is that? Is that some kind of like woo woo thing? And you know what? It's so pragmatic, and you can use it to build your business. Like, I wouldn't build business now without it.
Yeah.
So again, I'm always challenging people to come up with their core values, which will be part of that formula.
I mean, I remember when you and I were talking one day, and it was sometime after we started working together, and you asked me to help you with the culture part of it because, I got drawn into the culture. I started like a member like anybody else, but I got drawn into leadership as a way to perpetuate the culture. And I sensed what you're doing. I felt what you were doing, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I was very, honored and excited when you asked me to help. And I remember we were writing a whole bunch of stuff down as to like,
Yeah.
well, why are some of these chapters so vibrant and so welcoming? And so when all these adjectives came
And
out, we were just
growing.
writing down and growing, and people were getting value. And then one day you came out with, you said, I have a formula. I forget the exact way you put it, but you're like, I think I have a formula for culture. And I was like, what? Like, why even holding on to it? What is it?
By the way, you didn't see what I put in the chat about the core value that I think is your number one or two,
Who,
Rob.
mine?
Yeah, yours.
No, I didn't see it.
Accountability. You are completely always, what I do, what I say I'm going to do. That's you. How how you do one thing is how you do everything. Like, that is, I think, is, to me, that's the kind of person you are.
Thank you. Yeah, and we never think about that. I mean, look, sometimes we sell ourselves short because we remember where we came from, and that's the
Yeah.
part that keeps me a trick. I remember to keep me humble because I know where I came from. I know how unaccountable I used to be.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that.
But what's really funny about what Rob Lowenthal just said? He asked if there was a culture club. Yes, Rob, we've actually had a culture club for a while. It's the three of us.
But Tina, you know what? Rob also asked a great question too. And his question was, how do you start? He knows he has core values, but how do you identify them?
Well, what's great? You can actually go online and see an entire list. I know I did this with Lisa Ferry. We just went through, it's just like one of those things where it just starts to help you think about it. And you can Google it, say core value, examples, and see if any of those, resonate with you. And then you might even like find others. Then the other thing is, you know what? Either ask somebody that you work with or somebody like even in your family, like, what do you think my core value is using this? Like, just like you weren't sure, Rob, what yours was. And I can see that so clearly for you. So sometimes you have to step away from, what, your own, you know, you can't, you got to look inward, and sometimes it's really hard, so you get somebody else to do it for you. A lot of times it's your somebody, significant other, or people that are on your team.
Wow. So there you go, Rob. Ask somebody who knows you.
But have a list,
Well,
because it's so much easier.
yeah, that's great. Thank you for the question. And somebody said, Rob asked a serious question. Yeah, I think that's the first time I ever heard it ask a serious question. Usually his questions
Well,
come in the
listen,
form
if
of
you
knock,
guys
knock.
have questions for Tina, throw them in the chat.
Yeah.
That was a
Absolutely.
great question, Rob. So
Yeah, good question, Rob. Thank you. And so that culture formula, which we are going to reveal, and just don't want to reveal it just yet because it's important to understand the context for something in the foundation. So you came up with the core values thanks to Amir Asadi, and you got with Chaz, and you guys kind of hammered these out for Master Networks. But you were already building the New York, Connecticut region,
Right.
and you were developing the culture. Maybe it's more clear today, but you were developing it. Now, how were you developing that? Is it something you just felt like you wanted to see? Or it must be an extension of you, I would think.
Well, I think your business is, if you're in line with your doing your values and all that. I think it is an extension of you no matter what. So I think that I have some particular maybe attributes, in my personality, that probably, kind of made things clear. Like I just knew, like, I'm very, I'm one of these people that I like it to be fair. Like I'm one of those people that go, that's not fair. You know? And
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like I just feel like fairness is like, means so much to me. Like if you give to one person, you need to give to the other, or whatever it is. I just think things need to be fair. And I know the world isn't always like that, but that's pretty very strong for me. So kind of how did that end up happening? Well, that was like, well, I've got to give equal time to people. So I think, some of these attributes of just also, I'm also, I'd like to say, and I think a lot of you would say this, is that I'm not a judgmental person. I'm
Yeah.
probably the least judgmental person I know. And that comes from that could take Debbie Mann, getting me on on the couch to listen to what's going on with that. But more importantly though, is that I think not being judging is very important when you're building teams. Like I always believed in people should be doing what they want to do, not of what they're good at, what attributes do they have that could complement what I'm doing. And
Right,
that
the
was
strength.
always something that was like really strong with me with building teams. And I had that experience for many years building teams in a corporate environment. And that's when, that was a different era too. But more importantly, when I started to do this, I lived my core values. They were in my heart. And every step that I took, it was like a mantra moving ahead going, is it learning based? Is it community minded? Is it learning based? Is it community? I just really walked around with those kind of just trudging along and made a lot of mistakes, probably, excuse my language, pissed a lot of people off. But you know what? I just knew what this could be. And then, of course, when we got locked down 2 years ago, everything just, I think that I had paved, everybody kind of had that road that I paved to kind of go ahead with. And, but again, so like I actually have for these core values, I have a bunch of pragmatic actions. So I don't know if you want to go through that after I just want to make sure we have time for that.
Sure. Of course we have time. We definitely should go through that. You're talking about we're talking about the formula?
So talk about the formula, and then I have some pragmatic actions to
Sure.
take.
Oh, that would be great. Actually, that would be awesome.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't even know what Tina's talking
Get it,
about,
Me
but I'm
either.
excited to find out.
So
Get
I
a-
want to know. I want
Get
to
a pen
know.
and paper ready.
Oh, geez. All right, you hear that, everybody? So everybody get a pen and paper because I'm going to tell you, Tina just said something that confused the heck out of me because, we talk a lot. So I usually know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. So this is going to be good. I'm glad this is being recorded, but take out a pen and paper because I'm sure it's going to be something you're going to want to apply very shortly. But Sammy Vecchiola has a question. Tina, who is your biggest influence when creating
Ooh,
culture?
I like it.
There's so many. I have to say my mentor, Dave Jenks. I have to, because I was in the early meetings of Master Network. So if I didn't have that months and months of sitting with Chaz Wilson, Dave Jenks, Susan Ubeck, Sarah Bungie, there's many others. I'm sorry if I missed you, but when I think about the conversation was what was this going to look like? I got it, the learning based and community minded from them. And then I was able to, it just resonated with me. So I have to say it's the late Dave Jenks.
Yeah, I mean, and you've obviously been able to pay a lot forward. We got some, nice compliments in here. At least saying you helped
That
her
was fun.
figure out her core values for her company, Bashful
Yeah.
Buddha.
That was
Great
fun. I love
conversation.
you, Lisa.
Yeah, Debbie Mann, love Tina's have a sense of calm. Yeah, for sure. You are
Yeah.
very calming.
Well, you know what? I learned something a long time ago. Also, if I jump, to something too quickly, I end up kicking myself in the butt. It's almost like, sometimes you have to wait. You have to take that deep breath. You have to sleep on it. Thanks, Maggie. You have to sleep on these things sometime before you overreact in somebody's face. Just think about it. Sometimes you don't know the space where someone is at that moment. They could have just had, you have no idea what, especially in this day and age, what they're dealing with. So when somebody kind of snaps at you or does something that you're not, agreeing with in business, I'm talking about, personal life, that's up to you. But in business, I'm telling you, just be quiet, just think about it and waste and put a little distance.
Yeah, I've always, to Maggie's point, you're a great leader because I've seen what you've done. I've seen the result of what you. I wish I
Thank
was
you.
there from the beginning, but I've seen the result, and I've seen you in
I don't
action.
think you want to see that.
That would be an
There
interesting.
was some
To me, it's
tears.
an interesting story. Because I love success stories, and you're a success
Yeah.
story. But you as a leader, one of the traits that most people think is not the trait of a leader is what makes you a great leader, and that is you're a kind leader.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You
Yeah,
attract
you
people.
are. You
Thanks,
are.
hon.
People.
And listen, when I first came into Master Networks, you were at the first meeting,
Oh my
right?
God. Stephanie,
And
I'll never forget meeting you. That was hilarious because I actually, my daughter Megan and actually both daughters were at the meeting because I think we were doing College Connect at Carmel, I think, or I don't know, but I brought my kids in. They were like, I make them go. So do you want to hit that? Because I think we only have
Yeah,
14
we only have a
minutes
few
left.
minutes left. Thanks for coming, Chris. Chris is a great
Oh, Chris,
supporter
I love Chris.
of the
hey,
program.
Chris.
He's
Absolutely.
awesome.
So we're talking, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the culture formula. So can you get a drum roll? Maybe give a drum roll. This is what Tina revealed to me one day, and it was like,
So
I'm like, you're
simple.
a freaking genius because this is what it
So
is.
simple.
The core values. I said, what is that again? And here's what it is. You guys ready? You guys ready for this? Remember, genius is taking the complicated and making it simple. Here it is.
That's right.
The core culture formula is those core values, those 5, if you're talking about these, times your behaviors equals culture. Explain that, please, Tina.
Okay, so listen, we've talked all like 45 minutes about the core values, but we don't talk about the behavior. You could have core values, but if you don't like back them up with actually, your your deeds, right? If you don't back up your words with your deeds, you have no culture. Sometimes I always say to people, even if you're a solopreneur, you have a culture whether you like it or not. You should figure out what it is because you might not like it. So more importantly, so now if we take each of the core values, right? That's where I put together a list of some of the behaviors that you can do inside Master Networks, the pragmatic, because I have to go to pragmatic because I can't stand when there's not a process. You guys know that about me. It drives me nuts.
Rob
So it's
can't
like,
stand it either.
well, we have a lot of arguments over that too, right? Because it's like, well, what do you think it is? Anyway, so I just want to go through it quickly, and I have more of these. And I actually, Rob, I think you said you'd help me put it in a nice graphic or something so we could get this out to everybody. But relationships, you're going to, groan when I say do the face-to-faces. We all know from our years, Debbie Mann will tell you this. It's like relationships are about communication. So how do you communicate? You got to talk to each other. You talk to each other in the meeting, you got to talk to each other after the meeting, and you have to have sometimes more than one, right? That's how you create the trust. And we know that the speed of the trust is the speed of the referral, right? We need to uh, we need to talk to our leadership. We need to go to our leadership and talk to them and ask them, how can I support you? Right? That kind of bleeds over into contribution, but that's really important to have those conversations. Oops, there's Frankie.
See how important it is?
Frankie's barking at me.
Frankie says, yes.
You know what? You could do things like, come up to your leadership meetings that you're having, that your chapter should be having, and ask to join and start talking to the people that that resonate with you. And again, it's going to other meetings. That's another one. Go to one of the or many of the 32 meetings that we have. If I go over to constant improvement, that's like a no-brainer. You learn every time in your chapter meeting. So you plan to go to your chapter meeting. You plan to participate and really engage with people. Part of that also is to plug into Master Networks University. There's over 144 hours of stuff. If you guys haven't gone to masternetworksuniversity.com, it's part of your part of your membership. And you know what? You could share that with somebody. You could go, what if you're, you have an up and coming entrepreneur in your family, or, someone on your team, you want to give them a little bit, get them into Master Networks University there. I'm going to go over to contribution, where again, that's where you want to contribute in your chapter. It starts with the chapter. And then, I always say about leadership, especially at the regional level, it's not a club or a clique. It's earn it and deserve it. That's what we do. It's like Rob, you and Stephanie, you two are one of the two people, as of many of our regional leadership and chapter leadership, that have earned it and deserve it. And you deserve the accolades. And one of the things I always say to you guys is, what can I give you is, my love, but I can also give you social currency, right? So we want to do that. We want to rise up leaders. We want to really give them kudos for and recognize them. And we want to do that through every step of the way, from members to chapter leadership to regional, and then going from there. Look at Rob. You ended up being able to take over New Jersey because you had already, you and Gene Turman and the other group in the North Jersey, you had all created that together, and you had a plan, and you presented that plan. You presented the plan to Chaz Wilson, the CEO. He didn't go to you. You went to him and asked for it, but he also said, well, you earned it and deserved it. Again, so that's kind of thing you could do in your business. And if you're in a company, accountability is, as I said to you before, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Do a 1-3-5, 1-3-5 business plan. I hope that you all have one, or a business plan, because listen, accountability, if you don't have a plan, I guess, what do they say? You're in someone else's. There's so many of those quotes, right, that we've heard around the new year, but it's so true. Have a plan, and then you can hold yourself accountable and others, because your plan and your business plan, it's not only about what you do, it's about how you can ask others to do and leverage others. So let that be part. And all of that really equals, as you guys have heard me every week talk, is about results. And you know what? It's about, it's about, your results are, you're hitting your goals of your 1-3-5. You're having your goals for your face-to-faces, like they do in Stephanie's Carmel chapter. They actually have a goal every year for the face-to-faces. I mean, think about that. All of those things need to equal moving the needle forward. So if you're not moving the needle forward, I suggest you plug into this. It doesn't have to be, Master Networks core values. They can be yours, or you can use these for your Master Networks membership. Use the core values, do the behaviors, and I'm telling you, you're going to create a culture in your business. You're going to be part of our culture where we're moving ahead. And I'm telling you, we're moving ahead whether people want to come with us or not. But, I just ask people, come with us, and, you'll see those results. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'll leave you with people do business with those that they know, they like, and they trust.
Nice. Thank you. I mean, that's a mouthful of the what you've done, right? Pal, I mean, you've done something so big, and you just broke it down to something so simple. And inside of, several minutes, you gave the recipe for success for anybody who wants to build an organization. And again, we're not just talking about networking chapters. We're talking about business. We're talking about family. Any organization where you need to bring many people together, apply this formula, and the result can be phenomenal. Now, did you say you had something else, or was that it?
No, that was it.
Okay, that was it. Okay, because I thought, oh my gosh, she's got something new, and she's going to spring it
I
on
didn't
us.
share it with you. You were getting worried.
Well, maybe a little piece of me.
We have FOMO around here, right?
Yeah, I know.
I have that all the time.
So there you go, everybody. I mean, this is what we've been building up to. And think about this. I think people think about core values and they go, yeah, relationships. I'm a relationshipy person. Or improvement. Yeah, I read a book one time, and they think you either are these or you're only a couple of them, but maybe not others. And as long as you get 3 out of 5, you're okay. This is what you're saying, Tina, is the formula is active. You're actively doing this.
Well, you know what? I just thought of something that we could add to this. We could add core values times consistent behaviors.
Well, it's kind of
wanna
like
fix
constant
that?
improvement,
Constant
right?
Yeah, but this is consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. So those behaviors, you gotta. So everybody, you want to be taking what you're doing and intentionally
Yeah.
going to the core values and going, what did I do today? What did I do last week that amplifies each one of these core values? Because those behaviors will equal the culture. Now, listen, it takes really everybody. Because if we're
Yeah.
talking about, we're talking about an organization of people, it's everybody's job to create the culture, right?
But you have to, if you're gonna be a leader, you have to live the culture.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. Well, we are closing down on the hour, and although how much would we love, Steph, to talk with Tina for
Oh my God,
another
we could talk
hour?
for hours, right? We
I
you're
could,
know.
booting me off?
we could go on for hours.
Yeah, we actually went a little bit later because I wanted to give Tina some extra time here, and I feel bad about ending this because it's so good. But look, we want to respect everybody's time. Tina taught me we start on time, we end on time,
Yep.
and I make sure we do that because look, that's accountability. We want to be accountability to you and respect everybody for coming. So Tina, I want to thank you for coming and talking about the core value, the inspiration that you are to all of us, the coaching,
Thank you.
You're such a
watching you in
mentor,
action,
Tina.
Thanks,
you
dear.
actually training us, just an inspiration. I want to thank you for all you've done, and thank you for joining us.
And you know where to find me.
Yeah.
I
You
never
are
leave
such
this
a
room.
mentor for so many of us, Tina.
Yeah.
So we can't thank you enough.
Oh, absolutely. But I just want everybody to be successful. So just think about it. Even if you think, well, what is she talking about? Just think about it. All I'm asking you is take 15 minutes to think about what your core values are. Make sure you're living them because you'll be a much happier person, as Lisa Ferry will tell you.
All right. Thank you,
All right,
Tina.
thank you.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, Tina.
Wow.
Oh,
That was
whoa,
unbelievable.
guys. Whoa.
So there's the formula. Like we've been building up to it. And look, so the program doesn't end here just because we arrived at the formula, right? We're going to keep this going because there's still more to talk about. There's still more to learn. Steph and I are living this and working on this intentionally for the region, but we're still learning all the time, and we learn from you all. So we appreciate you all for coming. And Steph, I know we want to do something, don't we? There's something we also want to do.
Well, I do want to, yes, well, we want to, I first want to say too, like Tina just shared with you that, we asked about it in the Carmel chapter, and I know other chapters have done it too. Like, how many face-to-faces are you committing to for the year, right? That's a great way to start. So, building those relationships, having those face-to-faces, that's key. But I think we now have to go back to what the we want to thank a few people, right? So should we replay the music and let's see if you guys can get it?
Did you guys get this song? If you were here when we first started, you heard this song. Let's go ahead and put in the comments if you know the name of this song. Bonus points for the artist. While Stephanie does some thank yous for people who have helped us.
So thank you to Chaz Wilson, of course. Renee Pryve for giving Rob and I the opportunity to do this, right? Thank you to Tina for everything that she has done for both of us and for everyone, for this region. So thank you to Tina. Thank you to all of you that come every time we're live. You're here, so thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah. And I think we have a winner. I think somebody said it. Well, nobody really got it.
Ooh, wait a minute. I think somebody did.
But also, we want to give you guys a heads up that next episode is going to be on January 27th. It's episode 7 of Build It Through Culture Live. We are going to be expanding on this stuff and giving more value and giving you guys the tools, the training you need to be able to build a culture in your organization, no matter what that is, for more successful organizations. So we'll hope you join us then. And again, make sure you're looking out on social media as we put more of the information out. So do we have anybody who knows the name of the song yet? Oh
yeah, I think somebody knows who.
I think Rachel is just too smart.
Hey, and oh yeah, there she is. All right, Rachel.
Go, Rachel.
Good job, Rachel.
Rhoda has won the song contest. It is On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. Thank you, Rachel. You're
Hey,
the
guys,
only
don't
one that got it, by the way.
Yes,
The only
don't
one.
forget, guys, too. Make sure to share this on your page and share it with others who you think could benefit from this, right?
Yeah.
We want to spread the word. We want to just spread it out to let everybody know and
Yeah.
help them out.
Absolutely. And so that is going to do it for today's episode of Build It Through Culture Live. We want to thank everybody for coming. We want to thank you for your interaction. It doesn't work without you. We appreciate you all. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Build It Through Culture Live.
Spread love, everybody.
Have a
Go
great
out there
night.
and spread love.